Hello everyone. Today in this video, we'll be talking about the while loop programs where it behaves as a conditional loop. In our previous video, we saw that while loop could do all the programs that we did using a for loop. But these programs that I'm talking about now is specifically to be used using a while loop. And you will come to know why, because it's not a counting loop. It's going to be treated purely as a conditional loop. Now, before I actually take you into the first program, which says that you have to read a number from the user and we have to find the sum of all the digits of the number, I need to explain two important things to you. Okay. Now, what is that I want to tell you? Okay. Suppose I have a number which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. If you have any number, that number modulus of 10, okay, that number modulus of 10 will always give me the last digit of the number, which is nothing but 4, okay, and that number integer division 10, or you say, we call it a floor division with 10 will give you all the numbers except the last digit. That means it will remove the last digit out and give me just 123. Now you want to say, how is ma'am saying all this? Okay, let me just do the division for you. Okay. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're dividing it by 10. Can I say 123 times 10 is 1, 2, 3, 0? Correct? So, and if I do the subtraction, what do I get? 4. Isn't the modulus operator giving me the remainder? And what is the remainder? Nothing but the last digit. Isn't the floor division giving me the quotient? And what is the quotient? It's all the digits except the last digit. Is that clear? And this is the logic that we are going to be applying for a couple of programs. Okay, I have given you examples, few examples here. Few examples you will see later. So you need to know is anytime you have a number, let it be any number. When you do modulus of 10, it will always give you the last digit of that number. And when you do floor division 10, or I call it integer division 10, when you do floor division 10, it gives me the number, all the digits of the number except the last digit. Now, this is the logic I am going to be using for this particular program. Okay. Now, to understand that, let me just come back to you. Suppose the number entered by the user is 123. What is the question saying? Find the sum of all the digits of the number. That means you want to do 1 plus 2 plus 3, correct? Now, instead of doing 1 plus 2 plus 3, can I do 3 plus 2 plus 1? Is it going to still give me the same thing? Yes. Now, why am I saying I'm not doing 1 plus 2 plus 3 and I'm going to do 3 plus 2 plus 1? Because it's very easy for me to get the last digit out. We just saw modulus of 10 gives me the last digit. So last digit. So I'm going to be making use of that concept. Okay. Now pay attention to the formula I write here. It should be easy for you. I'm going to write D, just a variable D, and D is nothing but NO modulus of 10. Okay, so this is the formula I'm going to apply. D is NO modulus of 10. Another formula that I will apply is sum. Sum is equal to sum plus D. And another formula that I'm going to apply, okay, I'm going into the output area. NO is equal to NO floor division 10. Okay, now let's understand this. Okay, what's my number initially? 123. So I'm going to do this the first time. Okay, I'm going to do 123 modulus of 10. What is 123 modulus of 10 going to give me? The last digit, correct? So I got 3. Sum is sum plus, and obviously we would have initialized, when we do sum, what do? We initialize sum to 0. So it would have been 0 plus 3, which is nothing but 3, correct? So did we add up the last digit? Now, I'm not interested in the last digit anymore because I've already got the last digit and I've added it up. So I want to just get rid of the last digit. How do we get rid of the last digit? By doing floor division. So what is this going to be? 123 floor division 10. We just said, what does the floor division do? Gives you all the digits except the last digit. So what will you actually get? 12. Okay. What I'm going to do is repeat these three lines once again. Okay. Now D is NO modulus of 10. Did you realize here NO, which was 123, now you have made it 12. Can you see here? Yes. So now it is 12 modulus of 10. What is 12 modulus of 10 going to give me? The last digit, which is nothing but 2. Then I find sum. Sum is sum. Now sum is no more 0. It is 3. 3 plus the value of D. What did you get D as now? 2. So 3 plus 2 is nothing but 5. Okay. Then I'm going to find NO. NO, it says, is NO, which is 12. Floor division 10. What did I tell you? What does a floor division do? It gives you all the digits except the last digit. So it gave me what? 1. I'm going to repeat this step once again. So I get D as 1 modulus of 10. What is the last digit of 1? 1. So it's obviously going to give me 1. Sum is going to be sum, which is 5, plus 1, which is going to give me 6. Correct? NO, interesting, you need to know, is 1 floor division 10. What is basically 1 divided by 10? 0.1, but it's an integer division. So finally, what does it give me? It won't give me 0.1, it will give me 0. Now 1, so what has happened is NO was 123, then it became 12, then it became 1, finally it becomes a 0. When it becomes a 0, I need to stop because I have already got my answer. So I'm repeating this loop how many times? I can't say how many times. I can't say 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. I will say as long as it doesn't become, as long as NO doesn't become a 0, I will keep doing it. But the minute NO becomes a 0, I will stop. That is why we say that a while loop is a conditional loop. I cannot know beforehand how many times it will do. It will depend on when will NO become 0. And NO will slowly become 0. Remember, children, you got a big number, then you remove the last digit, then you're removing one more digit, then you're removing one more digit. Finally, NO will become 0, and that's the time I want to stop executing the loop. Is that clear? So is the concept clear? Now this logic is going to be applied in a couple of programs. Okay, so let me just start writing this program for you. Obviously, would I have to read the number from the user? Yes, and we all know how to read the number from the user. It's going to be int input and ask the user to enter a number. So enter a number 5. Okay, then what? Then what I need to do is initialize sum to 0. Okay, what are the 3 lines that I kept doing repeatedly? I'm just going to repeat that. D is equal to, it's there on the screen, D is equal to NO modulus of 10. Then what did I do? I wrote sum is equal to sum plus D. Then what did I do? NO is equal to NO floor division 10. Correct? Okay, but all this, did I do it only once or did I repeat it finite times? Repeat it, so it has to be put into a loop. So I write the while loop here. I write while. Now how long did you repeat this? I said as long as NO doesn't become a 0. So I wrote my condition as NO not equal to 0. And let me remember to indent all of them because that's how we write a while loop. So what will happen is this loop will go on executing as long as the number doesn't become a 0. Finally, when it becomes a 0, do we have the answer in variable sum? Yes, I will say print the sum is. And where is the sum stored? In a variable named as sum. Is that clear? So let's just execute this program and see. Children, the execution will be, over those annotated work, okay, but it is in black, so it should be clear. I don't want to rub the annotation so you can link the program. So let me just run the program for you. It's asking me to enter a number. Let's say I enter 123. Okay, so because we already have it. So what should the sum be? 6. Can you see I've got the answer as 6? Is that clear? So when can you use this concept? Now remember, whenever you get any program that that expects you to look at each digit of the number, then I'm dissecting or dissection. I need to cut one digit at a time. You always use this modulus and the floor division method. So anytime any question is given to you and you realize, oh, this requires me to, cut these digits out separately, then in that scenario, always remember this while NO not equal to 0 loop, and it will help you do things. Clear? Okay. I'm taking you to another question. It is almost on the same lines, so I'm not going to remove my annotation. Here it says, write a program to read a number from the user and to find the reverse of the number. Okay, so which means what? Again, when you want to reverse the number, don't you want the last digit, the second last digit, the third last digit? So you want to, extract it one by one. I am going to be using the same logic. But here, I'm not going to be using the sum formula. I need the D's formula and the NO's formula as it is, but I'm not going to be using the sums formula because I don't want to find sum. I need to find reverse. So what logic am I going to be using there? But before that, I'll have to do some work, is erase my certain annotations, okay? So I don't need to do, the entire thing again, because I know, do you understand? I don't want to find sum, I want to find reverse, right? Okay, now what is the formula for reverse? Reverse formula says reverse is equal to reverse into 10 plus D. And I'll tell you why all this is there, but let me just work out this and initialize reverse to 0. Okay, so what is your number now? 123. What did you get? D as 3. So I'm directly doing the reverse formula. Reverse is going to be 0 into 10 plus 3, which is nothing but 3. Then I did the NO as it is. I came back to the second loop. Now what did I get? D as 2. So it says reverse into 10. What is currently reverse? Not 0, 3. So 3 into 10 plus 2, which is going to be nothing but 32. And then I do the NO once again to get rid of the last digit. Then I find D once again. I come to the reverse formula. Reverse formula is 32 into 10, okay, plus D. What's the value of D? 1, which is nothing but 321. And what has happened? This program finally will make NO as 0 and I need to stop. Now, coming to the explanation of what does reverse into 10? Why reverse into 10 plus D? Okay, just pay attention. First time when I got 3 is in which place? 1's place. The second time when I got 2, should 3 continue to be in 1's place, or should 3 go to 10's place so that 2 can come in 1's place? 3 should go to 10's place, right? So if you want to shift the number from 1's place to 10's place, what do? We multiply it by 10. Same thing. Now when you had 32, 3 is in 10's place, 2 is in 1's place. But before I get the next number, what should happen? 3 from 10's place should go to 100's place. 2 from 1's place should go to 10's place. How do you shift one place ahead? Is multiplying it by 10. So 32, when you multiplied it by 10, you got 320, which means 3 from 10's place came to 100's place. 2 from 1's place came to 10's place, and then you made place for 1 to come into the 1's place. So that is the reason that formula is applied. Is that clear? Okay. So now what about the program? I'm just going to copy this as it is, okay, because I know the program is similar. Everything is same. I don't have sum. I have a variable called reverse. I don't have the sums formula. Now what do I have? The reverses formula. What was the reverses formula? Reverse is equal to reverse into 10 plus D. And finally, am I displaying the sum? No, I'm displaying the reverse is, and where have I stored the reverse? I've stored the reverse in a variable called REV. Okay, so let's just run this program. Okay, it's asking me for the number. I'm entering the same number, 1, 2, 3. So what am I expecting the reverse as? 3, 2, 1. Can you see the reverse is 3, 2, 1? Okay, so children, put this into your mind. Any program that expects you to divide the digits of the number, you use a while loop. Any other program, you can easily use a for loop. I'm not saying you can't use a while loop. We saw all the for loop questions I can do using a while loop. But these kind of questions, these kind of questions, which is condition based, not counting based, you must use a while loop. And especially remember, when you have to look at individual digits of a number and do something, then it is definitely a while loop. Is that clear? Okay, now let me just clear my annotations, because I'm going to be taking you to another kind of program, which is condition based, but nothing to do or nothing similar to the first two programs. But this is also something that I would want to do using a while loop. Okay, now read. Okay, so in this program, it's asking me to read numbers from the user until he wishes to enter a number. Now, how do you know he wishes or no? I'll tell you how to ask him, does he wish to enter a number? And what are you supposed to be doing? Finding the average and the sum of all these numbers, correct? So obviously I have to read a number from the user. So I write NO is equal to int in bracket input in bracket enter a number. Yes, you may have realized ma'am is typing wrong. Yes, instead of input I wrote input. Okay, so I've got the number. What do I have to do to this number? I have to sum it up. Sum is equal to sum plus NO. That's how we do sum, right? Okay, so what do I have to initialize sum to? I have to initialize sum to 0. Now, how many times should I read a number? As long as he wishes to enter a number. So I'm going to ask him, how do I know whether he wishes to enter a number? I'm going to ask him a question. Is input, do you wish to add, add more numbers? So he's going to get this option, correct? Okay, so I'm going to ask him, do you wish to add more numbers? Okay, and I'm expecting him to write Y or N. Okay, when should I ask him the number again, and when should I find the sum? If he says Y, correct? And where is the Y going to be stored? In the variable called ANS. Now look at this loop. I write while ANS equals Y. If you're thinking about capital Y also, then you could write or ANS equals, if you're allowing him to enter a capital Y or a small y. Okay, so now this is what will happen. In the loop repeatedly, you'll ask him enter a number, you'll sum up the number. Enter a number, sum up the number. How long will this loop execute? As long as he wishes to enter a number. The minute he doesn't write Y, it is going to be stopping the loop. And then I need to find average, because average is not found many times. Summing up, I have to keep adding one at a time. But average is found what? As I write AVG, or average is equal to sum divided by count. Now what is count talking about? How many numbers he entered. But don't I have to keep a track of that also? Yes. So I'm going to be initializing another variable called count, which is initially 0. And every time he reads a number and I've added it up, I will increment count. So I will say count is equal to count plus 1. So every time a number is entered, count is going to get incremented, and average is going to be nothing but sum divided by count. Print. What all do I have to print? I have to print the sum. Okay, so the sum is, and where is the sum stored? In variable sum. And then I also need to print the average is, and where is the average? In my variable called AVG. Okay, but can you see you're getting a yellow bulb here which says something is wrong here? What is wrong here? The first time when I enter the loop, does ANS have a value? Have you created ANS variable? No. Then how are you checking is it equal to Y? So what do? I forcefully create ANS and I initialize it. You remember me telling you initialization? So I initialize it to Y. Okay. Now what happens is ANS initially has a value, because we're assuming that at least one number so he will enter, no? So ANS is initially Y. I get into the loop. I read a number. I add up the number. I increment the variable count. Then I ask him, do you wish to add any more numbers? If he says no, I stop with that. But if he wishes to add a number, my loop will go back again. So in case of programs that tells you do certain thing up to a certain condition, again, it's a conditional loop, right? So what will you do? You will put it into a while loop. Okay, let me just run this program for you. It's asking me to enter the number because the first time, so I entered 23. Then it's asking me, do you wish to add any more number? I say yes. Then it's asking me to enter one more number. Let's say I enter 36. Do you wish to add any more number? Let me say yes. Okay, then it says I'll enter a number. I say 12. Now it's asking me, do you wish to add a number? I say no. Now when I said no, can you see that it's added up 23 and 36 and 12 and given me 71? And the average, I told you, floating point numbers, we don't know whether it's going to store it as 23.6. Generally it doesn't. It stores it in its, in a very different format up to 10, 11 decimal places. But it's going to be, if I'm talking about what is the answer is 23.6. Is that clear? So did you understand while loop and the conditional loops? Why is it called a conditional loop? It has a reason for why it is called the conditional loop. I hope it's clear. Okay, so everything is clear. Fine. Thank you.